Hey Cardinals fans, and welcome to another episode of Birds on a Blue Note. Got your two captains here. Hey RJ, how you doing, man?
Pretty good. How are you?
I'm doing great considering we won this important series, man.
Yeah, unrelated, but since I'm a big time UFC fan, I am kind of sad that the Connor Chandler fight got canceled. Chandler's like a local boy here to Missouri, so it's a bummer. But totally unrelated. Just my little small vent before the video starts.
sports are sports at the end of the
Yep.
day. It all goes together. But here we are to cover the recap of this series against the Pirates. 3 game set, and this was going to be a tough one. I mean, we are fighting them for one of the wild card spots right now, and we were getting a couple of the good pitchers, including Skeens this series, mainly in that first game, and matchup obviously favored them, but Miles held his own, man, and I'd be willing to say he even one-upped Skeens overall on the game, going full 7, just with 1 hit, 1 walk, striking out 6. I mean, that's about as best as we've probably seen him in a couple of years, since
Yeah, I
I'd
mean,
say he first came up.
if I had a penny for every time Miles Michaelis has given up a double over the center field's head to break a no-hitter against the Pirates, I'd have 2 pennies, which really isn't that much, but it's weird it's happened twice, right? So had the no
Oh,
hitter going to the seventh, and just kind of like Bader played a little too shallow and a weak hitter and hit it over his head.
yeah. But I
Happens.
mean, it is what it is. You couldn't ask for any more of him, but I mean, going up a good pit against a good pitcher like Skeens, especially for the first time, he had us confused too. And then obviously we get to the bullpen in the later innings and things are going well. Still a tie game in the ninth when Ollie makes a questionable move, in my opinion. I know plenty of people like to go with the closer in the ninth to lock down that, but I've never been a fan of it. You're taking your best piece off of the board. If you don't walk off in the bottom of the ninth now, with the way things are, you're immediately starting with ghost runners in the 10th and everything like that. So you're just putting yourself at a disadvantage having somebody like that go, especially when we're coming off of a break and everything like that. So, I mean, you have more of your bullpen rested. You could have gone and played the long game. Helsley unfortunately didn't have it. Walking everybody, little control. They end up getting singles, and lo and behold, score 2 runs.
It was tough because there was a shot to Mason Wynn in the ninth that he
Mhm.
made the scoop and he just didn't have the most accurate throw to home plate, and he kind of wished Pogus could have dug it out, because if he would have dug it out, there'd been an out.
August needs to dig that out.
He
As a
didn't.
catcher, you need to dig that out. It is a force out. You're not being asked to make the tag. You need to dig that out.
Oh yeah, and it was a tough play for sure, but
Oh, yeah.
it just stinks the way that happened, because like, oh well, maybe we'll BABIP our way out of this, because then he had the fly out immediately after. So and then we lose 2-1 because Gorman hits a home run in
Hmm.
the bottom of the ninth, first batter, first pitch against Bednar. I think they said he hadn't given up a home run in all season, and Gorman got him the first pitch, 15th of the year. He's on pace for almost 40 home runs, by the way. People wanted to trade him, but no, don't do that.
No.
Yeah, I mean, it stinks because that's a winnable game. You had Miles, like you said, Miles Michaelis outpitched Skeens, and we still lost. It's like,
Baseball, man. Funny game,
yeah,
right? Fun
stinks.
game.
Uh,
But yeah, I
I
mean,
want to
like
talk
you
about the
said,
Helsley thing too a little bit, because
yeah, go ahead.
I'm gonna somewhat disagree with you. I understand. Sometimes I feel like you need to put your best pitcher out when the game is on the line. And I think Ollie felt like the game was on the line in the ninth. And yeah, it didn't work out and it was not a safe situation. And it ended up almost coming back to bite us today in game 3. And those are all valid arguments. And I'm not saying that you're wrong completely. I just understand the line of thinking, is what I'm saying.
But If the game's 0-0, how's the game on the line?
because it's the ninth inning,
Okay. What have the Pirates done all game?
not score.
They've got 2 hits all game.
Yeah, but all I'm saying is I understand it. I'm not saying I fully agree, and I'm not saying it's like the right move or the wrong move. It's to me, I understand it. And Helsley has struggled this year in non-save situations for whatever reason. It doesn't make sense. It's like his
This is
head
my
screwed on a little
philosophy,
bit.
regardless of team, regardless of pitcher. It doesn't make sense to throw your closer out there in a tie game. It's a tie game, especially when you have the last at bat and whatnot. I get it if you are on the road and it's the bottom of the ninth and all of a sudden you have runners on, you're like, yeah, I need my closer in here. Or yeah, if let's say somebody had gotten on and yeah, then you can go to Helsley, leave JoJo in, let him face a runner or two, and yeah, if he gets into trouble, pull him for Helsley. Because then the game is on the line. But 0-0 with nobody on, there against the team that hasn't been hitting all night, the game truly isn't on the line yet, in my opinion, where it could go that otherwise you could argue why not bring your closer in the seventh, Game
But
could
that's
be
the
on the
thing, though.
line in
Say,
the
say
seventh,
he say he throws
ultimately.
Fernandez out there or King or whatever, like because it's kind of a lose-lose for him. Because if you throw someone else that's not Helsley out there and they give up runs, and like
I would
this is
have no problem
what
with
if
that.
game.
I would have no problem with
You'd
that.
have no issue if like we had our best reliever in the dugout or in the bullpen, ready
Well,
and
so let
available.
me be clear. That's why I say have JoJo start the inning. He's already there. You can have him start the inning and pull him because he doesn't have to pitch to 3 batters. Yeah, if you start with somebody new, totally different scenario because you can't suddenly quickly pull them. But like, you don't have to pull JoJo there. Ultimately, he only threw 7 pitches in the inning and he's rested. You can let him go out there and at least face one batter. And yeah, if he gives up a hit, now the game is on the line. Bring in Helsley. He's your closer. Have him already warming up. But I would have no problem with him going out there again.
Okay, I'm more or less playing devil's advocate here,
Oh
just kind
yeah.
of because I actually wanted Roycroft out there personally, because I've really liked what he's done for us lately, and I'll talk about him a little bit more later. But uh, yeah, no, like that's the thing about being a manager though, is like you damned if you do, damned if you don't. Sometimes, like I'm just saying, like imagine if he didn't throw Helsley. That's just not us, but as a fan base,
Oh
imagine he
yeah.
didn't throw Helsley and he puts John King out there. I'm just picking a name, and King gives it 4 runs, and we lose 4-1. Now people are gonna be like, "You had Helsley available. Why didn't you pick Chesley? He's your best reliever. The game's on the line." Blah blah blah. And now it's like, you get what I'm saying though, at least. So
Oh,
like,
I totally get it.
because
But
that
that's
would
why
definitely happen.
if I'm
I
in there,
100% happen.
JoJo's pitched 7 pitches. He's already warm. Send him back out there. He's pitched more than an inning before in a game. He's rested. Let him go longer.
Yeah, or JoJo.
Yeah.
Really, the name doesn't matter. It's just anyone other than Helsley. I'm just saying, imagine they pitched the ninth and they gave up the runs and we lost. That question would come to Ollie then. I guarantee it. And there'd be people that'd be upset, be like, why didn't you go to Helsley? He's your
Well, of
best
course,
reliever.
there's always going to be people upset either way.
Yeah. Well, that's why I'm playing devil's advocate here, because I
But
still kind of
this is
understand the
my
line of
this
thinking.
is my thinking no matter what. I don't care who it is, what team it is. I mean, it's even worse the fact that we've been using Helsley so much already. You don't need to be trotting him
To
out
put
in
him
a
in a
non-safe
non-safe situation.
situation.
Yeah. No,
But
I understand. And like I said, it's a fun discussion because I like to kind of do this devil's advocate thing sometimes to kind of like play both sides. Just because it's worth a discussion because this stuff does happen sometimes, and like managers will go to closers in non-safe situations and
oh, I know, and I hate it every time.
sometimes they won't and they'll lose anyway. And then people be like, why didn't you pitch? So like imagine we're the Guardians, right? And the
Yep.
game's tied in the ninth and they don't bring out Class A. They bring out someone else and they blow it. And then they'd be questioning, like the manager, like, why did you bring out Class A? It's not just us. It's just
Yep,
across
I
the
got
league.
no
It's
problem with it.
some
I
managers have
accept
that
it.
philosophy, just pitch their best reliever in situations that they feel like the game's on the line. And
No,
for
yeah,
most teams, that's the closer.
I don't believe you should bring in your closer in the ninth just because it's the ninth. If it's a tie game in the ninth, I don't believe you should bring him in to start the ninth at all. Just my
This discussion would be more interesting if we did not have other viable options, though, right? Like, say we'd had, like, say Romero and Kittredge and Fernandez and Roycroft have not been good. Then what do you do? Or is it still just no closer and hope that the other guys don't blow it?
it it's still no closer because your best case scenario is he holds it and maybe you walk it off, but you're more likely to not. And then you go to extras, and guess what? Now you don't have your closer when there's a runner on second base, which, in my opinion, is more of the game on the line than nobody on.
That's a gamble
It's,
either way, though, right? Like it is because
well,
say you pitch,
it's always a gamble.
yeah,
It's always going to be a gamble. Your closer can do what Helsley did and give up a couple of runs.
yep, and it sucks, and we
You know,
lost. We lost the Mikolas game when he outpitched Skeens. All right, we should probably move on though. We're stuck on this for a while. I just kind of wanted to debate on it a little bit.
we could definitely debate, continue this, but all right, yeah, going on to game two. Uh, we have our ace on the mound, Mr. Sonny Gray, and another solid game from him. Now, he did get pulled a little early, at only, what was it, 80
84.
plus 84 pitches, nine strikeouts, four hits, one walk on the game. Any word on if he's okay? I mean, he keeps getting pulled pretty early, it seems. I don't know if they're just having an innings limit on
They've
him
been
with that hammy early on and
pretty
whatnot.
mum on that. Not really sure. I don't. I know in the past, Gray has been one to say, "Yeah, I'm done. Take me out before 100 pitches." I don't know if that was the case again this time. That there really wasn't any.
But
Yeah, it was weird.
my thing is if Gray was upset, these guys are passionate, you would see something boiling over in the dugout if he wasn't happy about
Yeah, I
himself.
think it was mutual.
Yeah. But hopefully he's okay and it's just a hammy. He's maybe just wanting to take it light. The season is long. I'd rather get 7 innings every game rather than him going nine a couple and hurting that hammy again and then being out the rest of the season. Like
Yeah, or just
this.
overthrowing, and once you get down the home stretch in August, September, and like your arm's dead. We don't want that either. So,
Yeah.
um, he actually did have the most four, if you're a four person or Fangraphs or for starting pitcher over the weekend in baseball. He accumulated almost half a point just on that one start based on how dominant he was. So that's cool.
Hmm.
Um, what's not cool is Kittredge giving up runs all the time now. His ERA is almost up to four now. He came in and gave a run immediately after. So that's kind of why you question, like, why would we pull Gray already? And we put Kittredge in and he gave up a run. But I'll let you finish the recap.
No,
Sorry.
I mean, he was
Away.
able to settle down after that, thankfully, and get the next few guys out, including a couple strikeouts. But yeah, he definitely made it a little bit more of a nail biter. So here we go with Helsley in again for the second night in a row.
This
And
time's a safe situation, though. So,
it is, and thankfully he delivers. Offense did their job this game too. I mean, getting us that early lead for Sonny, allowing him to pitch with a lead. I mean, any pitcher, you give them a lead and they can go to it with confidence, having that, insurance, so to speak. Doubles from Nato. Wynn got a, you know, sack ground out, so to speak, and whatnot. But yeah,
Donovan Ribby, Carlson Ribby. Carlson is up to four on the season for all you Carlson people.
and Nada with a 3-hit game too. Can't
Yep.
overlook that either.
Heading into today, his before today, his last three games he was hitting 650. He went over 4 today, so it dropped. But he's been hitting the ball better. Just need to see a little more pop still.
Hmm. And Herrera's continuing to hit the ball well, a 3 for 4 game for him as well. So solid all around. And again, I mean, I'd like to see us score more of our runs. We did leave a lot of men on base. 11 hits, only 4 runs. Another error this game too. We can't seem to go a week without an error, it seems, but able
Which
to
is
pull
crazy
off the
because we
win.
started the season off like going what, like 15 games without an error, something crazy, and now it's like every game we have one.
Yeah. But we get the win, and that's what matters ultimately. Um, any thoughts on this game?
Um, I liked. I did not. Okay, so I'm gonna say one thing I didn't like and one thing I did like. I didn't like that Gray was pulled at 84 pitches, as you mentioned, because if this guy's gonna be our ace and he's gonna be our horse, he's gonna need to take some of these innings from the bullpen. Seven's a lot. You want seven, but like if the guy can go eight or if he can go a nine and still be under that 100 pitch count, you take those opportunities, right? Because recently we've had this stretch of guys such as Len or not Michaelis, who's been pretty good lately, but or like we got to rely on Palante sometimes. It's we've had a lot of starts where our starters are not going more than 4 or 5 innings.
Yeah.
So we need those innings from our ace if we can get them. And if they're there, and you're still under 90 pitches, I do not understand unless he said something. I don't understand why you pull him there. But I mean, I agree that you don't want to blow out his arm or if the hammy was flaring up, we don't know. They didn't tell us. But if he was totally healthy and everything's fine and he was pitching well, I don't understand it. Because
Yeah.
we do need to save the bullpen too. Like, because we went back to Kit and we went back to Helsley again. And Kit's been getting lit up. He's been giving up a lot more runs recently, which is a bad trend. So if you can save those bullpen arms, you got to save them when you have the opportunity. I just don't really understand.
Yeah.
I will say I did like Gray started off pretty rough. I think it was a walk and a double. Second and third, top of the first, no outs, and then he struck out the next 3 batters in 10 pitches. His sweeper's been one of the best in baseball. He generates more than 50% whiff rates on a sweeper, which is absurd. So like it's really really hard to hit. So he had his stuff going for him. So again, it's just it's weird that they pulled him.
Yeah. It really is.
And it was big for him to get out of that without giving up any runs, especially with the way we lost the night before was kind of a heartbreaker. To come back out with your ace on the mound and then give up runs immediately in the first would have been a pretty bad start and may have like kind of put a bad mojo on the team. So it was good for him to get out. I think that gave us a little bit of momentum after that for him to strike out the side.
Yeah. Agreed. I mean, good game to take. We needed that. We couldn't fall behind 2 games in this series. So good to get that before we go into this rubber match today against the Pirates, especially with Lynn on the mound and whatnot. Any final thoughts on game two?
Nope. Helsley looks a lot better when he's in save situations. Uh,
Yeah.
his pitches are the same. He throws the same pitches in saves and non-save situations. I don't know. Must be a mental thing. It's weird. It doesn't make sense to me. You would think the pitches would be effective regardless of the score, but they're not. So I'm glad he got it done though.
Yeah, definitely glad he got it done. So moving on to game three and able to get off to a bit of a quick lead in the third. Goldie was able to put a ball out to Oppo. Well, kind of Oppo, but
Yeah, right center.
right center. Right after Win had tripled, so
With 2 outs too.
yeah. And then things got really dicey in the fifth. Lynn has just been having issues getting past that fifth recently. I don't know what it is, but like again, gets pulled. Um, laboring. Obviously, King comes in, some of those runs score, uh, and it becomes a bullpen game again, which we don't need and whatnot. And somehow we're able to pull it out of our asses though and score a fourth run, thankfully, thanks to Donnie with a home run. And yeah, man, like Kittredge comes in, gets his first save of the season, but this was a laborious game to say the least.
Lynn, yeah, Lynn hasn't been getting the innings lately, which stings because That was the reason we signed him, right? People innings. And that was one of the people's like, I don't care about the innings if they're not good, but then he was pitching well. But lately, it hasn't been either. He hasn't been well. 300 runs is kind of tough luck because he loaded the bases on walks and a single, and that sucks. You don't want to do that. But then he struck out the next batter, and then he got the ground ball he was looking for. It hit off his foot, and he couldn't make the play in time. He tried to throw home. The run scored. The runner made it to first, and then he gets pulled. So he got the double play ball he was looking for to get out of it. And if he does
Yeah.
that, he probably still pitches, but he didn't. So some tough luck. Like I said, he got lined off his foot. Credit to the bullpen though. I mean, other than King giving up that ribby immediately after, which Chip Carey, he's famous for his commentary curses. He's talking about lefties never hit King. Lefties, they bat like less than 100. And very first pitch, 2 RBI single off with a lefty, Brian Hayes. And now we have a 3-3 game, right? But
Yeah.
then they locked it down after that. So, like, we went to King, Roycroft, Liberatore, Fernandez, Kittredge. So he's what, 5 relievers, 0 earned runs between all of them. Um, yeah, King gave up the RBI, but those are Lynn's guys out there that he walked on. So,
Yep.
um, yeah, like I wrote it down like on the season, King's got a 1.96 ERA, Roycroft has 3.18, and it's going down. Liberatore's 4.36. I'm gonna have to look and do the math on that reliever versus starter. I know most of that's from being a starter when he shouldn't have been. Fernandez 263, Kittredge 360. His went up. Kittredge is the one I'm worried about, but as a group, that's pretty good. But yeah, really that Donnie home run saved us, right? Because we didn't score again after that. I would have hated to have to go extras in a game where we already used 5 relievers
Yeah.
and our closer in the last 2 games. So it's a good thing he hit that.
It really is. Thank goodness we got that.
Yeah, we
And
didn't score any other besides that. You want to see more from the offense, right? Like we scored 4 runs, and 1 run in each game this series, which isn't good. I mean, the Pirates have a good staff, believe it or not. They have a good pitching staff, and they have really good starters. Keller's a good starter. Skeens was as good as advertised.
yeah,
Um, the offense still needs to do more, though.
it's one of those division rivalry games where like guys are doing everything they can and giving it their all, especially when it's this close. So, I mean, I'll take squeaking out a game any day. I mean, look at it. Two of the games in this series were 1-run games ultimately, and the other one was a 2-run game.
Yep.
So these were highly competitive games throughout the series. Credit to the Pirates where credit is due. They definitely gave us a run for the money, but again, we emerge victorious. We get a series win, which we desperately needed for a little bit, and we go in now to play the Cubs in another important series. Best part is we are back in the wild card again, right now tied
In
with the
place in the
Giants.
division.
So, I mean, we have a chance to build some momentum, but like the two teams that are chasing us directly in the standings are the Reds and the Cubs. So it's a central race pretty much for the wild card right now.
Yep. And you hope we can eventually, again, go on another hot streak to make a run at this division, just so we don't have to play a wild card round again this year, because that's not fun.
No,
Um, but yeah, I mean, if you were to ask most fans, most reasonable fans, I guess, because obviously you want the sweep. But if I were to like say at the beginning of the series before we played in the games, hey man, we're gonna win 2 of 3, would you be happy with that? Probably, right? And if you were to choose which one to lose, you'd probably say game 1, right?
the
If you're
schemes,
gonna
yeah,
lose one, you want to lose game 1 because you want to go into the next series winning the next 2. It's just more momentum for your team, more confidence. You don't want to lose game 3. You don't want to lose game 2 because then you're not like winning multiple games in a row. You want to, if you had to lose one, I guess game 1 makes most. It sucks because we could have won that, but like if I had to choose one to lose, if I could pick 2 of 3 every series to win, it'd be game 2 and game 3.
yeah,
So
agreed.
nice spots back. I
Um,
want to talk about Miles real quick because I've bashed him quite a lot on this channel for the past couple months, but credit where it's due. Since May 12th, He's had 6 starts. He's given up only 12 earned runs. He's got an ERA of 3 in that time. His home runs per nine, which has been one of his like big things, has given lots of long balls. He's only given up 1 home run per nine over that time period. 36 innings. So like these are the starts. 6 innings, 3 earned runs, quality start. 5 innings, 1 earned run. 6 innings, 3 earned run, quality start. 6 innings, 3 earned run, quality start. 6 innings, 2 earned runs, quality start. And then we had the one a couple days ago, 7 innings, no earned runs, 1 hit. So like, hey man, like you must have heard me talking bad about him. Good on him, right? So he's I still wouldn't call him a number two, but he's been pitching like it lately. So uh you like to see that, and hopefully that continues.
Hopefully, would love that because we need him to be really good because it makes things
Get him
easier
to
on
eat
that
these
pen.
innings too, right? Like getting all those innings because we haven't been getting them from Lynn lately, like I mentioned. And Palante is a wild card every time he goes out there. Our fifth starter is not like set in stone still. Another year of not knowing our fifth starter. Um, Gibby's been pretty consistent at getting us innings, and Gray has been back and forth like the last month. So it's nice for him to be pretty mostly consistent for the last month and a half.
Yeah, it does help. And so with the Cubs series going into that, just a reminder for everybody, all of these games are going to be afternoon games. So just keep that in mind. You'll get some early baseball from us. And yeah, any final thoughts before we wrap up the episode?
Yeah, we hit our sub goal. You're not gonna be able to see it because it's gonna blur it out. I want to get this thing off my desk. So if your subs are on private, you are not in the raffle. Please make your subs public, or you can just comment on the video and say, "Hey, I want to be entered in the raffle." Then you will be, right? Like there's cool stuff in there. I promise. There's gonna be signed cards Hall of Fame or baseball Hall of Fame ball in there as well as like what else did I say was in here? Replica World Series ring. We got vintage pre 1970 baseball cards. That's pretty cool. I mean, yeah, and you get another bobblehead or replica statue of a cards player. There's cool stuff in there. It's
Oh yeah, it should be fun.
please,
And we're
please,
gonna
yeah.
be raffling that off this weekend. Probably on Sunday and whatnot, during or after the Cup series during that recap video. So be on the lookout. Doesn't need to be this video specifically. If you've just commented on any of our videos in the past, we have your account down and you are entered in the raffle. So no need to worry about commenting again. Um, but yeah, that pretty much wraps it up for tonight. So thanks for joining us for another recap episode, and we will see you later this weekend. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and have a great rest of the day. Take
Oh,
care.
and happy Father's Day to all the fathers out there before
Ah,
we talk to you
happy
again on
Father's Day,
Sunday.
fathers.
Yep. Or the single moms, I gotta shout them out too, the ones that are doing the fatherly duties.
All right, everybody, you have a great night, and we'll see you next time. Take care.